grabs. I think David Perdue is up 5 in the WSB TV most recent election. But let me run down the numbers. Let me also tell you, I'm giving you the best number that I can find in the recent past. I think it's the longest one is 8 days away, but some polls don't come out very often. The best number and a little commentary on each. In the national race, in the battleground poll, Trafalgar has Joe Biden up 3.2% over Donald Trump. 3 days ago, Trafalgar had Donald Trump ahead by 2. So clearly we have volatility in the poll that did best the last time around. You've got to get out and vote. KeepAmericaAmerica.com will tell you where. We have early voting underway as we speak, and I think most of the places it only goes through Saturday. But early voting is critical. I've been looking at John Ralston's numbers from Nevada. It's extraordinary how many people are voting early. But in Arizona, where Martha McSally is running, Georgia, where David Perdue is running, Michigan, where John James is running, Minnesota, where Jason Lewis is running, Ohio, where I can't believe Ohio's in play, but Ohio needs your vote. You got to get out there and vote. KeepAmericaAmerica.com will tell you how to do that, where to go, and how to help someone also get out the vote. It's the largest get out the vote effort on the conservative side ever. Right now, commit to take yourself and one person to the polls. Do a little or do a lot. Go to KeepAmericaAmerica.com. Let me run down the other numbers. Tom Cotton is underperforming. He's on a little bit later today, and he's only up 55 points in Arizona. It's Tom Cotton, 75, and whoever he's running against, 20. So I think we've got to get on the senator's case a little bit. John Cornyn is up 10 points in Texas. Mitch McConnell is up 9 points in Kentucky, and I believe these polls overweight Democrats. I always believe that, so I think you can always add in 2 or 3. In Kentucky, they were off 5 years ago for for Bevin, Matt Bevin by, I think, 11 points. I can't recall. But those 3 are in the bag, those 4, Cotton, Cornyn, and McConnell, as well as Dr. Marshall in Kansas, Congressman Marshall, now up 4, and I believe they're undercounting there as well. Now let me go through the one, and Lindsey Graham is up 8 in South Carolina. Now, South Carolina, don't get complacent. You're a deep red state. You're a great state. You've got great governors, great senators, Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham, but don't get complacent. Let's put it away and put it away a lot. One thing, it will sting. The Democrats have spent more than, I think it's $150 million now against Lindsey Graham. And they're just trying to buy a seat. That's happening in a few places like Maine, which I'll come to in a second. But get out there and vote, South Carolina, for Lindsey Graham. He's a great judiciary chairman. He got Justice Barrett onto the court in record time in a fair and full process that no one can complain about. I mean, they'll complain about it, but not fairly. Lindsey Graham up by 8. Now let me run down the close ones. Jason Lewis in Minnesota is down by 1 in a Survey USA poll a week ago. So Minnesota, get out and vote. Susan Collins is down by 4 in a Colby College vote, but she has won every debate, and she had a great debate last night. I mean, Sarah Gideon, who she is running against, was a legislative leader in Maine and was presented with a very serious allegation of one member of her caucus preying on young girls. And she didn't do anything. And Susan Collins called her on it last night, and here is Sarah Gideon going, abba dabba dabba, cut 16.
So, Ms. Gideon, why didn't you push for the ethics investigation or take other action as soon as you learned about the allegations? Why did you wait until the information became public? You have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you. So, I want to start by saying that I think that these commercials and these allegations just show exactly how much Susan Collins has changed and that she will do anything to stay in Washington. Look, I take the issue of children staying safe and sexual predation incredibly seriously. I have a 16 and 17-year-old boy at home and a 13-year-old girl at home. And I have spent my legislative time making sure that I am keeping children safe as well. Now, here are the facts. When there was an allegation that came forward, and it was anonymous still, I did immediately call on the state representative to resign. And I find it ironic that Senator Collins and her allies, dark money allies, continue to bring this forward when she has defended people like Brett Kavanaugh and President Donald Trump.
What's remarkable, she didn't answer. Why did she not get an investigation going forward? Why did she not? She said she called on the legislator to resign. That was after it was made public. So she failed on that. Then comes up the most important issue facing the United States Senate if the radical left has its way. And Sarah Gideon will be a Chuck Schumer puppet. Cut number 17, it is Sarah Gideon responding and Susan Collins on whether or not they will pack the Supreme Court.
Do you think the number of justices on the Supreme Court should change? Speaker Gideon, to you first.
Any proposal to change what the Supreme Court looks like, I will evaluate through this lens. Does it help us restore an independent judiciary? Right now, as I see the proposals come forward, I just see an argument between Democrats and Republicans that doesn't get us there.
Thank you, Senator.
Well, I'll give you a straightforward answer and not beat around the bush. The answer is I do not support increasing the size of the Supreme Court. As Ruth Bader Ginsburg says, 9 is a good number, and that's the number it's been since 1869.
Okay.
We should not pack the court.
Thank you.
Bingo! Susan Collins is such a great senator. And by the way, she voted against Amy Coney Barrett because she didn't want the vote to occur before the election. And Maine, you're listening to me, Maine. I'm going to say this a lot. You cannot not vote for the most effective senator in the United States Senate, Susan Collins. Now, David Perdue last night just took John Ossoff, the youngster, to the cleaners because John Ossoff has been taking, you got it, Chinese money. Cut number 18.
Responsibility. Clearly, China was responsible for this. And we've learned a lot about the virus, who's most vulnerable, what we need to do to protect them, and so forth. But what we have to do is hold China accountable. And John Ossoff will not be the one to do that. Because in the last 2 years, he's actually been working for a company owned by the communist Chinese government. And yet in the last debate, he denied that. So the question tonight is, moving forward, instead of...
Okay, cut number 19. David Perdue drills down.
Did you or not, did you work for that Chinese communist company? PCCW is a media company in Hong Kong that's owned by China Unicom and owned by the Chinese government. So the question is, for the last 2 years, he's been working on them. That's on top of working for Al Jazeera for the last decade.
Mr. Ossoff, I'll let you answer that, and then we'll move on to the next question.
As I predicted, Senator Perdue doesn't want to talk about COVID-19, a pandemic that has killed nearly 250,000 Americans. He is going to spend this entire debate deflecting from a substantive conversation about the most serious public health crisis in generations. He will launch false attacks, he'll make outlandish allegations, he'll repeat the same 6 words over and over and over again because it's what his handlers in Washington have trained him to do, to evade responsibility and avoid a substantive discussion of where we go forward now to contain this virus. And here's the answer. We put the medical experts and public health experts in charge, not failed and disgraced politicians like David Perdue.
Thank you for your time. We're going to move on to the next question.
I think I get a response. He named me in that answer.
Very quickly.
Well, again, he talks about taking responsibility, but he won't do that. He misled the people of Georgia in the primary. This is really important here because it goes to trust and judgment. If you want somebody to represent you in the United States Senate, you better hope they have good judgment and that you can trust them. He misled everybody in the primary. He then refiled after the primary was over and is now told the legal document that he filed says that he indeed worked for that company, even though before, in our last debate, he said he did not. And if that's confusing, go to my website, PurdueSenate.com, and you'll get that cleared up, and you'll see why he's not wanting to answer the question and why he won't take his own advice about taking responsibility.
Cut number 20, David Perdue brings down the hammer.
But I'm here to tell you that there is a document, and I have it right here. This is his July filing where he disclosed to the federal government that he, in fact, did work for them. Now, there's a responsibility here he needs to own up to because sooner or later, we need somebody in the United States Senate that will stand up to communist China.
Now, look,
Thank you,
I
Senator.
can tell you right now, I have never taken money from the Chinese Communist Party, from any entity that is operating in China, nor solicited any funds from any such company, nor have I ever asked for work from a Chinese company, nor have I ever had anything to do with it. It's very easy to answer. If you haven't got Chinese money in your background, it's very easy to say I've got nothing to do with the CCP and the PRC.